Hi, I'm Dan Nebel. I'm the horn instructor at Colorado State University Pueblo, and today we're going to be talking about one of our all-state audition pieces for Colorado, at least in 2021. And this is on page 22 of the white Hotog Preparatory Melodies for Solo Horn. This is actually written by a guy named Josef Schontel and just put together by Max Podog. And this is number 54, the polka. So for this piece, I will be using some alternate fingerings, mostly on the written E naturals at the bottom of the staff. It works a little bit easier fingering-wise and accuracy-wise, at least for me, to play those on the B-flat side of the horn. So most of my E naturals are going to be played as thumb and two instead of open. And then if you look at the bottom of the page, I will also be playing some D naturals, or D sharps as thumb one instead of two, and an F sharp as thumb one and two instead of two. Okay. So here's a few different ways you could work on this piece. One of the best ways to learn something is called chunking. So what we're going to do is we're going to start it basically at the speed that we're going to play it, but we're only going to play a really, really small section and make sure that that's very, very accurate. So we're going to start with the pickups, play the first measure, and end on the downbeat of the second measure. And that's all we're working on for right now. Don't worry about anything that comes up after that. That's all we're working on. And you want to play that until all of the notes are really even and clear and speak correctly. And you can do that at least 3 times in a row. So now we're going to start on the downbeat of the second measure and play to the end of that measure. And you see you've got a comma there that indicates you should breathe. So we're just going to end on the after the second beat. So all we're doing is bum ba da ding, and making sure that all of the little details in this measure are exactly how we want to play it. Make sure we're getting that accent in there. Make sure the first note is staccato. Now the next thing we're going to do is put both of those together. So we're going to play the beginning all the way until that D with the accent on it. And once we're happy with that, we're going to repeat that just to keep that in our head. That B natural there, the second to last note didn't come out, so I got to do that again. That was great. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to move on to the next measure. I'm going to play the downbeat of the third measure to the downbeat of the fourth measure. Now let's just play to our next breath mark. Let's try that again. So my octave leap there is not quite as accurate as I'd like, so I'm just going to work on that for now. Again, I'm playing the low E also as thumb and two. I'm pretty happy with that. If I wasn't able to do that tongued, another way to work on that would be to slur it. Okay, so now I feel like I've got a pretty good chance of hitting that correctly. So I'm going to start at the beginning of the measure and end on that low E. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to start adding a note after that. That was pretty good. Okay, that was great. We're going to add the next note. That was great. Now we're going to play to the downbeat of the next measure. That was fantastic. Let's see if I can finish out that little phrase. I thought that was exactly how I would want to play it. So now I'm going to start at the beginning and see if I can get to there accurately and playing all of the little details. So if I did that for the audition, I'd be very happy with that. That took us, maybe 3 minutes of work, and you've got 4 measures that are pretty much perfect. So I would approach the entire piece with that in mind and practicing it that way. And I think it will bring you some very good success. So another way that you could practice this polka would be something called the metronome game. So we're going to start out really, really slow, and we're going to do a small chunk of music that we feel like we could be successful with. So we're going to play, let's do a new part. We're going to start at the 3rd line down from the top on that D sharp. We're going to play just 2 measures and then end on the downbeat of the 3rd measure of that line. So we're playing the D sharp until that B with an accent on it. So we're going to start out really slow. We're actually going to do, I think, quarter note equals 56 for right now. So before you start playing with the metronome, get an idea of how fast your 16th notes are going to go in your head. For something this slow, you might actually double the speed of your metronome and have your metronome play 8th notes. So let's do that. 56 times 2 is going to be 112. So we're going to set this at 112. And each click is going to be for an 8th note. So it's going to sound something like this. Da 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 dee da da dee da da dee da. So get that in your head. Figure out how it's going to sound before you play it. And now let's give that a shot. That was pretty good. Let's repeat that one more time. When you get something correct, you want to repeat it 1 or 2 more times afterwards, because that's going to really instill that into your mind. The more times you play it correct, the more likely you're going to play it correct when you're nervous and trying to do this in front of someone who's judging you. And from playing this fast previously, I know I want to actually play thumb and 2 on the written E's at the bottom of the staff. So I'm going to add that in this time. So I'm playing thumb and 2 on all of those E's. A little bit weird at the beginning of getting the thumb and 2 in there, so I'm going to try that again. Oops. I'm just going to try the measure, the 2nd measure, try working on that because that's where I've been making my mistakes. That was great. We'll do it again. Not so great. Now we're going to add the first measure again. I'm happy with that. So let's increase the speed. So now we're going to have eighth note going at 132. Well, I missed that E, the third to last note. Let's try that again. That was great. Missed that same E, so let's isolate that. We're going to just play the last 4/16 notes going to the downbeat. Add the beat before that. Now play the whole thing. That was great. Let's make it faster. So now we've got eighth note going at 152. I'm happy with that. Let's figure out what half of 152 is. That would take us a little bit under 80. So we're going to put this back to 76. And now we're going to feel this in quarter notes instead of eighth notes. And that's probably about as fast as you need this. I don't think I would play this much faster than 80. Let's hear what 80 is on the metronome. Just for that little section. So as you're working on this, when you get these little sections, you want to be paying attention to all of the details in the music. So we got our articulations, we have our accents, we've got our slurs, we have our dynamics. And that way you're learning it in a way sort of from the ground up where you're not having to add things in afterwards, which makes things a little bit more confusing. So another way that I like to practice pieces is by singing them. If you can at least get the style and sort of what you're trying to portray across with your singing, and then you try to imitate that with your playing, you'll go a long way to making this piece sound really musical. No composer is going to write down every single little nuance that you should probably be playing in the music. So it's up to you to figure out what is the high point of a phrase, what is a phrase, and make sure that the listener can actually hear that and decide, oh, this makes sense, or that was an interesting way to play it. So I would much rather hear someone trying to be musical, and I guess you're essentially adding nuance, you're essentially adding dynamics and direction to the music that is not written on the page. I'd rather hear someone trying to do that and think, wow, what they're doing is strange, than hear someone just playing and not thinking about it at all. So one way to do that is to go through your music and sing it as if you were, a big opera star or something, and then try to imitate that. So I'm not even going to give myself a starting pitch. I'm probably not singing this in the right place. But this is how I would feel like this piece should go. bum 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 ba bum yum ba da 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 bum 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 ba ya bum ba dum da 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 dum bum bum yum ba dum bum ba yum bum yum ba da 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 yum bum ya da 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 ya da da dum ba da dum bum bum ba da dum bum bum ya da da dum bum 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 bum. And since that's all you're required to play, we're going to stop there. And I'm going to go ahead and see how much of that I can imitate on the horn. It's been a while since I've played this, so we'll see how this goes. So that was by no means perfect, but I feel like the overall effect was quite good there, and I'd be happy if I played it close to that way in an audition. So, to get a larger idea of how you want the piece to go, try singing it.